You're welcome back, and we still have Kari Jackson. Before we proceed, just very quickly, Kari, you're bothered about issues of misinformation and disinformation in the community these days?
I think
at least when it concerns the environment.
There is much disinformation too on the environment.
Yeah.
Yes, because reporting too on the stakes, the right stakes, there's an issue of protected area conflict, and there is an issue of encroachment. I may give my own disinformation and misinformation too.
Yeah.
Look at a wetland, perhaps even around Bermuda Free. We see an individual who is trying to purchase this land, which is a no-go area.
Yeah.
And to us, the biodiversity hotspot. And here, wetlands are characterized by you and I, palm plantations.
Yes.
Or, the kind of grass that you find, the vegetation is different from what you find on arid or very, very dry land. If somebody encounters someone who is trying to go against this law of purchasing this land, and it is not a rightful thing to do, or it's going to cause harm on the environment, you, our environmental journalist, if you report that it's fair because maybe the guy is already owning a land certificate of that place, or he is a guy you can't report about because you are not strong to report about such an individual.
Yeah.
I don't know whether this is disinformation or misinformation. If it's on World Environment Day, we have to cut down trees. We have to fell trees from a catchment, perhaps eucalyptus trees that were erroneously planted there, to have them replaced. Another story, you plant and maybe somebody comes and uproot, a water catchment. It's not equally, it's a no-go, a no-go area. Reports about this can equally give misinformation or disinformation. I think a lot of disinformation, I choose, tarries around this. So I use this opportunity for you and your colleagues to report much on the environment. We don't waste a lot. You and I know that for every work to be done, for every job to be done, very soon will be COP21. There is a changing climate, and our cultures and what we do, of course, also a lot of environmental harms, which means we need to report more on these anthropogenic causes and how we can quickly reverse them before it gets out of hands.
Okay.
So disinformation should be discouraged within environmental reporting.
All right. Thank you very much. This part of our program, we're dedicating it to looking at the challenges of the environment in our community now. We're in Bamenda, we're in the Northwest. You are on the ground. You've done sufficient research for academic reasons, for your organizational reasons, and you must have come up with lots of things. This is happening at a time. We've had some pieces of legislation talking about forbidding the use of non-biodegradable papers and plastics and so on and so forth. When you look at our environment, where do you think we're going wrong in its management?
Yes, waste management and the decision whether to use plastics or to use what kind of packaging stems from the household, from the individual who should choose what should be packaged and how it should be done. The eminent ban on plastics almost 7 years ago by the Cameroonian government, it's brought more harm than good. Firstly, if you go to a supermarket and it's raining and you carry your small plastic, maybe a basket. Mostly women used to use basket. I saw a white lady in Bermuda here who throughout her shopping used to use a basket. When a woman pounds a chew or cooks food to go and greet a friend, they use basket.
A basket.
Why don't we as individuals transform those cultures which were, remember I talked about traditional wisdom. We use this wisdom to shop. You shop, you take your whatever and you pile in, and you enter your car, or you bought your bike, you take your car and you move away. So from the cultural point of it, people knew that moving with an old Saxon motors or purchasing from somebody and he doesn't package it in several plastics as perhaps you buy a toothpaste, it's packaged.
Yes.
You pick the next item, it could be
packaged.
chalk, it's packaged. The third, and then they give you another package again. You and I should, you know about that very well. Quarreling over packaging, at the end, where does that end? Managing it at home to you as an individual is a very, very big problem.
Yeah.
I remember when I was about preparing a piece of land for my garden, I would take 2 days, 3 days just to do sorting from, you know, these plastics, especially those that weigh below 60 millimicrons, as it was said, that can easily fly, they're easily dispersed by wind and so on. The strength, the energy with which I used to rescue those plastics away from my farm. At the end of the day, the first person who has that danger of suffering is you and I, the final consumers. Notwithstanding, the government reserves the right to adjust to make sure that the laws are strictly implemented. But where did this fail, or how is it failing?
Yeah.
I was talking more of traditional wisdom and, you know, the final consumer who should decide, because at the end of the day, if nothing is done about it, you suffer. I will not need to remind you severally that Derek, Mami, your wife or whoever shouldn't preserve your corn fufu in a plastic bag. It's synthetic and it becomes cancerous. If I tell you that, do I need to come and ring the bell for you? It's for your health first, I think.
Yeah.
And if you tell me that while there it looks sexier or it looks more palatable and you know, it attracts, like you cannot use when it's packaged in our leaves.
In the leaf.
That is just a practical example.
No, but truth be told, fufu looks better when it is packaged in the leaf.
In the leaves.
When it looks like some piece of cake when it is uncovered.
Talk about the egusi pudding. If it's packaged in a plastic.
That's madness. Can it be egusi pudding?
Okay, it
will
will no longer be egusi pudding. All right, maybe we started from, if we grew to know that it was packaged in plastics. People would just have that culture of, you know, overwhelmingly accepting as in first scene.
Yeah.
Like someone who goes to a party and discovers a new meal there, the way it's packaged at home, I'm sure he or she would try to prepare it packaged in that way. So that zeal, that willfulness of us to know what is, to be able to separate what is wrong from what is right, is what would take us out of especially plastic waste, which is dominant. Don't let me talk about aquatic life, because at the end of the day, all is swept. Just like our plastic bottles and so on, they swept to the streams. Finally, they end up in the sea. If you need to see, if you watch a video of our sea, how it looks like now, I'm telling you, you will spend all your time wondering on how it will all be cleaned. And life there makes life here better, life in the sea. Having that blue sea will make life for all of us very, very better. Let's come back to how that can be challenged. You know, with the government, what happened when it was banned, or when plastics, you give an entity that they should not use. How should they store? A local guy who sells in the store, how does he get an alternative? You know, sensitization, like I told you, change of mindset, and the spirit of accepting comes first, the willfulness and how it is done.
That's right.
If some sensitization was done perhaps for 1-2 years to allow business guys, you know, to invest in alternatives, and samples of these alternatives are made available quickly, or those that they may not only be you know, very, very of high quality. They begin from somewhere, and as time is improving, you know, they improve on the quality of the various packages. You and I will know that there are certain items that cannot be packaged in certain, you know, in certain quantities, or like I talked about 60 millimicrons of plastic packaging and so on. There are certain items that must go with this. But few, if you cause me to know that if I carry my sacks, if I buy one sacks and motors, I can use it, which is durable.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about biodegradability and durability. Yes. How many times are you able to use
that?
Yes. If there's a plastic that you can use for 1 year, there will be no problem because you have to reuse and reuse. But people think that moving with every new plastic or every new packaging is fashionable and it makes you cleaner. And no, move with prepare your own packaging and come with it from home. If you know you want to get bread where it won't be packaged, well, you have it at home. Carry it along and you carry it back. You can use one simple bag for as many as how many years? Many years before you discard of it. So our mindset first, then the legislation. They should ensure the more, when the ban came, more plastics are inundated the market.
Yes.
From, I don't know, internationally and locally. I don't know how
that's why I've been, I've been shifting. My description is that the plastics are the one resisting. I don't know whether that is true, but the plastic.
They don't talk. They don't move.
They don't talk, but they don't talk. The ban.
And who are those? They want to say ban. Who are those receiving them? It's surprising when they give me a packet. I said no, I don't need it. I give it back. So there are these 3 R's for plastics and waste. Either you reduce, you refuse. You're getting it. Yeah. Reduce the plastics. Yes. You refuse it if you can't reuse it. You refuse. You reduce. You reduce and you recycle it. Recycle, reuse, refuse. Are you getting it? If you can't use even a plastic bottle, if you're buying drinks or beverages that are packaged in these plastics, you must be able, because I'm sure the producer is licensed to encourage users to reuse or recycle it if they can. And we are doing that at Sustainable for Development. You can count how many from one household alone. And sorting this waste now, if you think that sorting will cost you more than refusing, then continuous go for them. And then if you think that sorting you will not have a lot of, it's not time wasting doing sorting, you continuously go for your plastics. But if the government could implement a strategy of sorting at the collection bins, that if plastics are seen there, they won't collect, they will carry them back to you. I think some people will change their mindsets.
Okay.
And bringing in alternatives that are durable and accessible, they are user-friendly too. And it should have caused those who can produce to produce, they subvent, so that they easily infiltrate the market.
Right.
When they were banned, the alternatives, the few were scarce. I saw those who could manage to staple some white papers and we bought in them. But some of us who started refusing them before they are banned and sensitizing people locally, I think we've carried out several sensitization camps around the inquired market, the Bermuda area, and so on. The government still has a lot to target. So that we are free from all of this.
We'll be back just very quickly for the last segment of the program. But remember that Kari is helping us out. How do we get out of the environmental problems we're facing? We're in urban Bamenda, and what we've noticed is that most of the councils, municipal structures around here, all have municipal deliberations banning the cutting down of raffia bushes. I don't know what I call them, palm bushes or raffia palm bushes, whatever that is. Gary will help us to better appellation. But there are lots of municipal decisions banning that. But we still see people constructing in the heart of these areas, marshy areas, and things like that. Let's discuss this. It will be the last part of our program. Please don't go away. We'll be right back.